Good morning and welcome to Mr. Wizard's Workshop, episode 58. This week is a continuation of content or subject from last week, which was success mindset. I'll do a real quick review. Mindset's a person's mental framework or perspective through which they view the world and make sense of their experiences. And a lot of this content is based on the excellent book, Mindset by Carol Dweck. Is based on a lot of research that she's done over the years. Show this picture again real quick. The basic result, her research and the content of the book boils down to there are two mindsets. One is the growth mindset, one is fixed mindset. Depending on which mindset you have, your reaction to life, to challenges, obstacles, your perspective on effort, your reaction to criticism, your opinion about and reaction to the success of others are very different. And as we talked about last week, in general, growth mindset is probably better. Also talked about last week, a initial first step on cultivating a growth mindset, which was to understand the power of mindset. That is, educate yourself about the differences are, which was kind of the whole purpose of last week's workshop, and recognize and buy into the fact that your beliefs about intelligence, your abilities, your talents can significantly impact your behavior, your learning, and your overall success. Understand that you do have the ability to develop and change your mindset. So this week, I'm going to run through some additional steps and discuss them. And then, of course, we'll open it up for discussion. So step 2 would be embrace challenge. That would be think of challenges as opportunities for growth rather than avoiding them. So if you have a fixed mindset, then you're pretty likely to avoid challenges because especially for something that you don't already think you're very good at, because then that would be an opportunity for you to fail because you're not very good at it. So the growth mindset recognizes that challenges represent a chance to learn, to develop new skills, and expand your capability. And embracing challenges helps you to overcome self-imposed limitations, those limiting beliefs that everybody talks about, and actually expand your beliefs about what you can achieve. And as you face challenges and overcome obstacles, your confidence and self-belief grows, which is fueling even additional growth and achievement. So step 3 would be value effort. Recognize that effort is essential for our growth and improvement. So again, that's part of the definition or the distinction between fixed mindset and a growth mindset is the idea or the understanding that even for the best of us, it requires effort to be successful. Whereas the fixed mindset starts with the assumption if it's not easy, then it's outside of your ballpark. But you're not qualified to undertake it if something is challenging to you. So instead of focusing solely on outcome, appreciate the process and the effort you put into achieving your goals. Carol Dweck's book, it's interesting to me that this lines up very well with Eckhart Tolle, who I'm listening to a lot of his work now on Audible. And he's the author of The Power of Now. Put a couple of quotes from him because he makes the point that the present moment is where you really need to be spending your time and focus. When you're in the present, if you don't treat a task that you're working on as a step on the way and don't value it in and of itself, you're not nearly as effective as when you are present, when your attention is fully in the now. There's going to be a significantly increased power and quality to what you're doing. Other people call this being in the flow. So step 4 is put some emphasis on learning and development. That is, prioritize learning and personal development over seeking validation or approval or being worried about what people think about you. So seeking that validation and approval can be very limiting, as it often leads to, or is it's part of a fixed mindset. And when we prioritize learning and personal development, then you're shifting your focus from seeking external validation to intrinsic motivation. And intrinsic motivation is almost always more powerful than external validation. Another part of this is to think about setbacks as learning opportunities and focus on gaining new knowledge and skills. Step 5 is cultivate a passion for learning. That is, if you can foster a love for learning by approaching new tasks with curiosity and an open mind, it's very powerful for you. Embrace the idea that there's always more to discover and explore. So having a passion for learning or cultivating a passion for learning encourages you to embrace challenges rather than avoiding them. And again, embrace challenges, growth mindset; avoid challenges, fixed mindset. Willingly stepping outside of your comfort zone to acquire new knowledge, develop new skills, and tackle unfamiliar tasks is a good thing. I mean, obviously, when you say outside your comfort zone, then by definition, there's a certain challenge to do it. But if you could cultivate that idea that it's worth it, then it helps you to do that, to step outside your comfort zone and take on those new challenges. And step 6 is persist in the face of obstacles. Just understand, know that setbacks and obstacles are a natural part of the learning process. And if you can develop resilience and perseverance to overcome challenges and moving forward, then that's a very powerful thing. And we recently had a whole workshop, which is episode 56, on the importance of persistence. So I'll put the link to that video in the description of this video for those folks who happen to have missed that particular workshop. So next week's workshop is going to be a deep dive into 4 additional steps to cultivate growth mindset. So I'm finding that having a little bit shorter workshop, I think, is more productive than running to 25 or 30 or 40 minutes. And I always want to make sure I leave enough time for the discussion. So rather than cram these remaining 4 additional steps into this week's workshop, I decided to just cover them next week. But to whet your appetite, those are going to be embrace criticism and feedback, which can seem a little counterintuitive. Cultivate a positive attitude. Surround yourself with growth-minded individuals and cultivate self-belief. Action item for this week, not a big thing, but it's a short video, developing a growth mindset. It's about 4 minutes. So I've been, between last week and this week, I went out and looked at probably half a dozen additional YouTube videos on growth mindset. And I really like this one. And it's amusing and it covers the key points, but it's not too lengthy, and there's some out there like an hour or more. And I was amused by the whole idea of the brave seed and the scared seed. So go learn about the brave seed. And I will post the description or the link to this video in the description. So are you an entrepreneur that is highly motivated to improve your productivity, but you still struggle with procrastination and regularly find yourself neglecting your highest priority tasks? Then schedule a free 30-minute quick start to time blocking working session with me, and I'll show you how to beat procrastination and get your shit done. Open up the workshop for our discussion.
Hey, Stephen, good morning.
Good morning.
Last week, my favorite part was the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset in regards to dealing with criticism. That was like a real kind of wake-up call for me. Yeah, it was just an eye-opener to understand that, because there are areas in my life where I don't respond to criticism well, and other areas where I do respond to criticism well.
Right.
I think we all have those different
Sure.
reactions depending on what the topic is. And it was just a wake-up call to understand, like, hey, maybe if I'm so defensive about something, it's because I'm stuck in a fixed mindset there.
One of the steps next week that I'm going to particularly talk about in more detail deals with criticism and how you handle criticism. Nobody is all one thing or the other thing, and nobody is 100% fixed or 100% growth. But across domains, it can be, you can be very growth mindset in one area or strongly growth mindset, for example, business, and still be very fixed mindset in other areas like creativity. So if you have in your mind, I'm not creative, there's a limited amount of creativity that God handed out and he didn't give me, then that's a fixed mindset, right? And I'd say that that's wrong. Like, fixed mindset is flawed just from the get-go, but I've seen lots of people who think around creativity who think that I think most people are creative or can be creative. And that's just a particular example.
Yeah.
From this week's presentation, for the additional ways to cultivate a growth mindset, was there anyone that particularly resonated with you?
I really love the quote from Winston Churchill. That is, that is so good. Because when I imagine a person who can go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm, I think of a child, kind of, this kind of childish, almost clumsy behavior.
Right.
That seems so pure and genuine.
So 1 was embrace challenges. Step 2, step 3, value effort. That's recognize that effort is essential for growth and improvement. Step 4, emphasize learning and development. Step 5 is cultivate a passion for learning. Step 6 was persist in the face of obstacles.
I mean, I can't disagree with any of them. I think they're all really good.
Yeah.
I think what we need, the hard thing about all of these steps is to be reminded of them. Or maybe that's just me, but I feel like that's what it ultimately boils down to. When you get frustrated with something, or you don't like how something goes, and then you just get into your own head, and then all you need is that reminder that says, "Hey, didn't you promise yourself to embrace challenges? Didn't you, make a commitment to have a passion for learning?" And I feel like that's like where and how do you get the reminder? Do you pay someone? Do you have someone in your life? Do you write it down? Like finding a way to hear it when you need it the most.
Yep. And that's actually another one of the steps I'm going to cover next week is build a group or have a support group of success-minded people that embrace a growth mindset.
I feel like there's a lot of people who are interested in this topic, but very few who, like, when you put them on the spot to live it, it's like, I don't know, it's like they're like a slippery fish, like, oh, I can't because of this, I can't because of that. It's like, no, not yet, or I need to figure that out first. It sounds awesome. Everyone wants to live like that, but when you put someone on the spot, like something's going badly, and you're like, hey, didn't you want to commit to a life of learning and to embracing challenges? Like, yeah, it's difficult to, I'm interested in next week's episode, like, because it's difficult to actually find people who live it beyond just reading the books and watching the videos and then talking about it. And then when you should live it, it all goes out the window. It's like, nope, it doesn't apply to me.
Thanks for joining, and hope you can join next week. We'll wrap up the 4 remaining steps for cultivating a growth mindset.
Thank you. I'll be there.
Thanks for watching this video recording from my live weekly workshop. Every Sunday, I feature instantly actionable steps you can take to overcome procrastination, increase your productivity, and get your shit done. Followed up by Q&A and discussion with the live participants. I really hope you found this video useful and you feel like watching it was time well spent. Please post any questions or comments you have. I always answer posts. I'd appreciate it very much if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you know anyone that would enjoy and benefit from this particular episode, please send them the link. Stay productive, my friends.